use your own life as a resource, which is what we do in folklore studies often. Your life, your practices, the things that you share with your loved ones, the things that you share with people who were total strangers before this event, that bring you together, those in themselves, just taking note and stock of those experiences is a way that you'll find and can encounter folklore in your life during this total solar eclipse. My name is Jasper Waugh-Quasebarth. That's Jasperwaughh hyphen Quasebarth. And I'm a visiting assistant professor in comparative studies, as well as the director and archivist for the Center for Folklore Studies here at The Ohio State University. I have experienced a solar eclipse in 2017. I ended up being in what was called at the time the Great American Solar Eclipse, which traversed the entire continental United States. I watched it from the deck of a pontoon boat in the middle of the Tennessee River, just a little bit north of Chattanooga, Tennessee. And when we were on the Tennessee River, there was several other pontoon boats, and one of the really unique things that happened in that moment was a sort of folk response to the moment using a popular culture icon. At the moment of totality, it seemed like several boats around us, we all started playing the Bonnie Tyler song, Total Eclipse of the Heart, at the same moment. So really getting that sense of not only something that was happening internally, that I was sort of viewing this eclipse and having my own sort of personal thoughts and responses to it, but also recognizing that that was an experience that I was sharing with my friends who I was with, as well as these total strangers who are also with us in that space on the river. I think that there's a sort of popular sort of sense that folklore is superstition, that folklore is something from the ancient past, that folklore is part of myth that is busted in a way by scientific practice often. But really, I think those two things frequently go together. And we can see it in a couple of different ways. One is that we're always producing folklore in all of our practices. Folklore really is just everyday expressive behavior. So you can see folklore, for instance, in the aid of everyday science. The science that we'll do when we make our own homemade sort of little eclipse viewers during the total solar eclipse is a form of folkloric practice. It's a material culture. It's a material culture that's made by people teaching each other how to do this thing, how to engage with science when we don't have, really expensive tools to be able to look directly at the sun. So in that way, we'll use our sort of everyday expressive behavior to engage with this event, while also understanding the scientific sort of principles behind it. So those two things I don't think are incompatible. In myths, we often see ideas of eclipses as being a pursuit or a consumption of the sun by some kind of monstrous being or animal. So we can see, for instance, in a lot of Chinese folklore, a pursuit of the sun by sky dogs. We can see in other places different kinds of monstrous beings, whether they be sort of deities or animals. In the Choctaw tradition, there's an idea that the sun is being gnawed on by a giant squirrel. So how can we explain the fact that it's sort of the sun is gradually being sort of eclipsed by the moon, is that it actually appears like it's being gnawed on a little bit, little tooth marks one at a time, and you'd respond to that by sort of trying to scare the squirrel away.